webinar has started. Very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our live webinar on empowering female leadership, a strategy for organizational growth. I am super excited to see you all join us today as we, delve deep into the important topic of discussion with the esteemed panelists that we have today with us. I would just like to say a few points about this webinar series that SheWork has been initiated. Women Everyday series is an initiative by SheWork, which has been taken to celebrate Women's Day, not just for one single day, but to celebrate it every day. So, before we dive in, allow me to share a quick personal anecdote with all of you. So, today in my career, I have the privilege of working alongside some talented female leaders at SheWork. And we together thrive for gender advocacy and inclusion at our own workplaces. So, over this next hour, our today's panel will be sharing their insightful thoughts and perspectives to enhance your learning experience. And I would also encourage all the attendees to participate actively and make the most out of this session. So, because our goal is not just to inform you guys, but also to empower you with the actionable insights that you can implement at your own organizations. Whether you are a seasoned leader or you are an aspiring leadership roles, there will be something valuable for everyone in today's discussion. So, today's panel is nothing but the reservoir of knowledge and wisdom, which together brings immense wealth and expertise from human resource domain. On that note, I would like to introduce our first speaker for the day, Mr. Rahul Bagley, CHRO, Force Motors Limited. Welcome to the platform, Mr. Rahul.
Thank you.
Yeah. The second speaker for the day is Miss Manjri Patel, who is Global HR Head at Cloud Moyo. Welcome to the platform, Manjri.
Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for this invitation. I look forward for some good conversations today.
Yeah, for sure. And our third speaker for the day is Miss Jayanti Fadke, Head HR India Subcontinent Toll Group. Very, very welcome to the platform, Jayanti.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so all of the leaders that we have right now as a panel for today's webinar discussion have played a pivotal role in shaping leadership initiatives within the plethora of organizations that they have worked over their entire tenure of curriculum. So it is indeed a pleasure of having you all and sharing your insights with us today. And on that note, I would like to open this conversation by asking my first question I would like to ask my first question to Jayanti. So Jayanti, we have seen that many women participate, they take the opportunities and join the organizations, but later on when it comes to the promotion levels, to the mid-level or leadership levels, there are very less number of women that we have seen that are being promoted to that level. So what is your take on this, that have you seen into the various organizations that you have worked into, what kind of women leaderships have you seen?
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting and valid question, Pooja. And whenever I have looked at, this as a challenge, it's a twofold challenge. I think the one-fold challenge is that if you see that we have at a ground level also, most of the organizations really struggle to hire diversity candidate at even entry level. If you look at the global ratio of at least the gender diversity, it's like 70% male and 30% female diversity even at an entry level. So I definitely feel that somewhere down the line, till the time we don't really fill up our entry level up to the mark of probably the male ratio, how are we going to even find people to move to a middle level management or a leadership role? Uh, Typically, I have seen that the organizations go wrong where there is a less leadership in women, is that they don't really focus on the entry level hiring of the diversity typically. And then if your input is low, obviously, over the period of time, you're not able to find the woman leader or even managers to promote. So that is one level of problem. The other level of problem is that, unfortunately, it's not only in India, across the globe. Uh, there are a lot of managers who have hiring power. They come with a lot of unconscious bias. So it's not a conscious bias, but it's an unconscious bias. And I remember we had to really tackle unconscious bias by training our hiring managers in my, previous organization, and we do that even in my current organization, where we said that, don't ask personal questions. Typically, are you married? Are you planning for a family? And as soon as someone says yes to both, the candidate is dropped. And these are, some of the biases which come and, play a very, very pivotal role in hiring of any diversity candidate. So I think it is important for the organizations to really train the managers and give them an importance why and what of all of these things, and then really, have the leadership pipeline ready by hiring the diversity candidates. And after that, then it is all about, how the diversity candidates also want to work hard and, go to those levels. I've seen some of my own team members, they say that no, we don't want promotion at this point in time because, we want to manage work and life balance, and which is perfectly all right. So we need to first identify people who are good and who want to really grow and want to give focus to work as well as the personal life, and then mentor them and train them in the organization. So, for example, we found out when we started talking to people, especially the diversity candidates, they were very reluctant to network within the organization also. And then we actually started training them how to network, because that is also important. You need to have your own, people who will say, yes, I know this person is good, and we should promote this person. So these are various initiatives which I think the organizations have to take to create and build the pipeline and then make women future ready for the leadership roles.
Yeah, I completely agree upon the points about the unconscious bias that you mentioned, as well as it has to be taken an initiative by the women also to, take that responsibility. Because when there is a leadership role, obviously along with that comes an responsibility too. It's not just that you are promoted and then your performance or the capability that a woman is carrying, you need to address that to a level wherein your, position is justified. So, as a CHRO at Force Motors, what do you think about this, Rahul? Because the industry that you come in, we have seen that maybe women hiring is like what will be the ratio, if you can say in the type of industry that you guys work?
Okay. When it comes to comparison between the manufacturing versus IT or ITES or services, it is always less because of the work specification, cultural, and other kind of work practices. And to answer your questions, it is around ranging between 7 to 10%. Generally, I have seen so far in manufacturing. But in my previous stint with Forestia, I have seen we have enhanced the diversity with a very special drive, which went up to 29% of the organizations, along with the engineering center, not only the manufacturing. So it requires a lot of conscious efforts to identify the things. And the first challenge for us is to tune the mindset of the leadership, because they always, I echo with Jayanti that mindset of the leadership is something which always needs to be challenged. And then the whole aspect is that how we are taught in a world, or in India, if you see the law, it is based on Manusmriti and all are like male dominance law, and that's how it evolved. The ability, which the leaders are not testing the ability, but they are thinking about, will she give some kind of dedication while managing the home, managing the different challenges and all. And that's how the unconscious bias is coming always towards this. But I see lot of organizations, including Tata Motors and all, Mahindra, in majority of the automotive sector, they are hiring dedicated woman force. There are some drives which can be nomenclature as woman in blue, something like in shop floor. There are leadership roles. So lot of things which are changing in manufacturing, Pooja. But then it has to get to the next level. But I am very happy to see lot many diversity candidates are onboarding, not only at the junior level, but also at senior level, including board. So this is what I comment on your question.
Yeah, so that is what is the ratio that you said, that 10 percentage of the women hiring, that you have been taking efforts from your end also. Like the society that we have came up into, that society is male dominant for sure, but obviously there is some kind of awareness wherein gender equality, about unconscious biasness. But if you see, like manufacturing industry is one, and then the other part is IT industry is the one, wherein you can see, people do mention that in manufacturing industry, oh no, if it's a job in manufacturing industry, men can take that job. It is only for boys. Means I've seen such job descriptions, but while in IT, I've seen also this kind of job descriptions that the position is only for women. Okay, so these are the things that have been coming up. So for Manjri, my question is for you, that what do you think, what is the difference, like whenever I'm working for IT, why it is more comfortable, or what initiatives have been taken, like you guys also provide work from home culture, or there is some kind of other kind of facilities also for the women. So what are your initiatives to inculcating women at leadership roles?
So, are you specifically asking about Cloud Moyo or generic practice that you see in IT industry?
I'm asking about generic practice that we have seen
Okay,
across the industry. Yeah.
sure. So, a couple of things, right, Pooja? One of the things, I remember this is way back, not just this. This is not a recent phenomenon, but I have seen that over the years there have been a lot of programs. I remember we had this program, Return to Work, and a lot of companies have actually started doing that, especially in some of the life stages that a woman has to go through when she has to relocate after marriage or otherwise. um, Motherhood can be one of them. um, there are several life stages where typically the woman is considered as a caregiver of the family, and to take care of the children, a primary one basically. And that is what, at times, the thing is that once you get into that stage of life, it becomes easier or difficult for you to come back to the corporate life, right? The confidence level, or there's a lot of imposter phenomenon that happens amongst women, whether they will be able to take up the role post their break in the careers and things like that. So there were a lot of initiatives, and we've done it at Cloudmoy as well. I've seen companies taking initiatives in terms of return to work as one of the initiatives for specifically hiring women who had taken breaks in their careers. So that could be one. Second, I have also seen there are special programs where um, there's something called as an ally program that happens in organizations, where they have mentors and coaches to make sure that they provide some kind of support and simulation for women employees to go from mid-level or mid-management to the senior management. So, uh, playing the role of a senior management, and how is it and what does it take for you to go from one level to the other, and coaching and mentoring if there are any gaps, identifying those gaps and upskilling them or reskilling them, or maybe coaching them, because uh, I truly believe that it's not like they do not have the intent or the capabilities. It's their own mindset that pushes them behind always. That whether I'll be able to do it, there's a lot of self-doubt also. So I think, and here is where I think HR and managers can play a very important role in having those dialogues with women employees and get their confidence level up, saying that it's fine that you have this life situation, or you need to balance work life, and everything can happen. I think it's a lot about our own mindset that we need to change. Uh, Thinking that while we can take care of home, we also have an equal ability to take care of whatever is required on the job front. And so long as you are focused, you continue to learn, upskill yourself, and make yourself capable of managing roles. Uh, we've seen so many women employees, getting into those roles also, and a lot of initiatives have been done to make that happen. I'm very humbled and proud to say that Cowboy, we have 40% women working here. And that's higher than the industry average, right? So we've taken those initiatives. In fact, one of the initiatives was also to make sure we tie up with She Works. So to and then whenever the hiring spree is there, we get or call back women who had taken breaks in their careers. So I think there are so many things that can be done to encourage them. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Like women returnship program that you mentioned, I think it is really, really necessary because I myself, I have two kids. And because during that period, you need a kind of support also because regarding your skills, maybe if suppose you have taken a gap, that gap affects your skills also, the skills that you have gained. So you need to be trained again, and then again, you need to be judged on certain kind of KPIs. So I think so there need to be certain kind of KPIs for each and every role, and based on that, the pipeline for leadership should be again, should be like pipeline should be developed further. So
one other thing I'll add, Pooja. Sorry, one more thing I would want to add here. So one of the programs that I've also seen, and we've also done it at Cloudboy and in my past organization, is basically helping the woman to transition from this stage. So giving them part-time to begin with, maybe 5 or 6 hours of work, and then eventually increasing that as maybe they've taken a maternity break, then give them that seamless transition from to corporate again or to work again. So, and it can be done so long as you are and then at the same time, the candidate or the employee also needs to make sure that they don't take undue advantage of that flexibility. But there is, everything can be done so long as the intent is there, I believe.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like it was spoken in this webinar itself earlier that, women participation should be also there to, I want to go towards the leadership role. And that push needs to be there from the managers that, yes, if suppose anybody is capable, then you need to explore those capabilities also. So, Jayanti, what do you think that suppose being being into a leadership role, what can you describe about your own journey, like starting from a level towards reaching to a head level and heading the organization, which is to a very higher level? So, how has been your journey, and are there any challenges that you have faced during this journey? And if you would like to mention and share about the same.
Yeah. So my journey has been really interesting, Pooja. So I was addressing other group a few days back, and I said that when I really started, I didn't have any goal in mind. I never wanted to be a head of HR or a head of any organization. But it was just a simple thing that, yes, I want to work hard, I want to earn money. So that was the only intention when I really started working. And I did not start my career from HR. So I actually started working in ITS. I was in paging earlier. So I used to take, messages for people for paging. Then I moved into a team lead role. I moved into a manager role within operations. And then I moved into a bigger company called IBM. And, I was working for one of the account in operations, even in IBM. But what was interesting in these kind of big companies, that you get a lot of internal job postings. And I started really evaluating what I will enjoy doing, here on. I worked in operations for almost 8 to 10 years, and I started feeling that I know it all. If you tell me anything about operations, now I know it. I stopped innovating because of that, because I felt that anyone coming with the idea, I used to say how it will not work and how the existing thing is best. So it was more of a self-realization that probably I'm getting stagnated here and I want to move somewhere else. And then the job posting came in for HR, and I tried finding out mentors within the organization, saying that, hey, you've worked with me, you know me. Do you think I'll be able to work in HR? And during that time, I'm talking about almost 2006, 2008 of time frame. There were no enough programs for, forget about diversity candidates, but there were no programs even for male candidates. So everything had to be done on your own. So as I said, I started networking. I found out one business head, and I said that can you help me. I reached out to one of my friend who happened to be in HR, and I said, I want to move. Do you think I can do it? And with all of that, then I took a decision. I applied for the IJP, and it worked for me. And since then, I have grown in HR almost for last 15, 16 years. So I think that, as even Manjri said, that the self-belief is extremely important. Not getting complacent in any of the role or job yourself is important, and taking chances and reaching out to people yourself is important. So organization are evolving a lot now. They are coming up with so many interesting initiatives for the employees, be it diversity or any other top talent candidates, but making use of it also remains in the individual's hand. So I feel it's a best place to work in any corporate now, because of the evolving practices which anyone can see in the organizations. I know Manjri, we met in other forums also. So she also has a very interesting journey. She has changed, her own, core profession of HR, got into finance, and you'll find very less or very limited number of female in finance head kind of roles, because we always feel, again, it's unconscious bias that we feel that female cannot be good with numbers. They can't even manage their own finances. So how can they manage finance for organizations? So these are all stereotypes which individual have to decide and break those stereotypes. That's what I feel.
Yeah, actually the roles are challenging, and whenever you get to the higher positions, it gets even more challenging, because the thing is, people do expect from you to to perform at that position, as well as in addition to that to manage multiple things. And being in the leadership role, it doesn't come with a cakewalk. Obviously you need to pass on the challenges and the hurdles that are there in front of you. So as Jayanti mentioned, Manjri, I would like to know your journey too, because you are into a leadership role at a very, very, good organization at a global position. So how has been your journey towards the leadership? What were the hurdles you faced, and what would be your advice for the women in the pipeline for the leadership, or for anybody out there who to how advance into this?
So Pooja, basically, like Jayanti mentioned, I didn't start my career as HR either. In fact, I have done programming for a year, and I got graduated in a year when there was a recession, and none of the companies came to our campus. So my thing was that whatever coding I did for a year, and then I said, okay, I need to do something. And the same thing, right? I think one of the main things that you need to do is, so long as you have that that passion that I have to make it big. I want to make sure that I earn my own money. I become financially independent. Then you kind of break the barriers, start breaking barriers that you have created. So these are self-imposed barriers, I would say. A lot of times I didn't even realize, and it was not that, and I know that. And one of the things I would want to say that my previous company where I worked for 16 years, I give a lot of credit to my mentor who was there. She was a co-founder of the organization. It's Sharmila from Calsoft. And whatever, a lot of times I say that what I am today, I give a very big credit to her, because she ensured that I always stayed on top of my toes, kept learning. She kept pushing us very hard. And as you rightly mentioned, it's not a cakewalk, but it's not possible also. So I don't want to, women, whoever is looking at this webinar right now, to feel that it's extremely difficult and it's not possible. It's not the case. Each one of us have our, pluses and areas of improvement. I think so long as you identify that these are the gaps that I have to fill, if I were to go from one level to the next and consciously work on filling those gaps, anybody can do what the other. So there's this quote that I keep giving my team members also. There's this quote from the movie The Edge, which says that what one man can do, the other can do. Right? So it is possible. It's not that just because one person or one woman has able to do it, you will not be able to do it. Each one of us have that inside of us. I think it's a question of how we push our boundaries, make sure that we gain that confidence internally and go on and continue to learn. For 16 years in Calsoft, I did not stay in one role. The good part is that the organization gave me a platform, that whatever you want to do, and free hand, that if you want to take another role, please go for it. And that's how I took on HR, resourcing, recruiting, and then sales operations. So they gave me an opportunity to work very closely with the CEO and the CFO for sales, and I was always interested in finance and business finance and numbers and all of that. That's how I did my MBA, and then I took on those multiple roles. So it is inside each one of us. I think you need to identify that and push yourselves to do more than what you're doing, and not have this. A lot of women also have a very a feeling of self-pity every time, that I'm doing so much, I need to work at home also and at office also, as if it is a burden. So so long as you're considering that, it'll never happen. But if you're happily, if you've chosen that you want to make a career, you also need to build a support system inside your home, so that you get that support to manage both, and you can manage it. If you want to, everyone can manage it. So that's what my journey has been.
Yeah, I completely agree that developing a support system is very important, and as well as it's inside you only, everybody can achieve something, but through a right way or right path, through a great mentorship, and along taking opportunities what you are getting and being open to the opportunities also. So Rahul, turning again to the topic of unconscious bias, like we have seen that organizations are right now open and they are well educated towards inculcating diverse solutions to restructure their workforce and hire more women into their platforms. So at an mentorship level, how do you address this unconscious bias, or what are the ways that actually organizations can do that, managers or the people already in the leadership role can provide the opportunities to the people in the low or mid senior levels?
So, 2, 3 pointers are already addressed. One is the education or creating the awareness. Okay. Second thing, so this is already discussed, so we'll not go into detail, but then generally we give some awareness not only at a training but also during the merit increase process when we are promoting the diversity candidates. We ensure that the equal opportunities are given. Take one KPI. How much female are promoted as a percentage? And this will be very interesting to see versus a male. And the reason is the lack of scalability of the people who are available in the troop is something which is keeping some kind of questions to the management. But coming back to your question, I think lot of time unconsciousness has to be removed very effectively, and this is not the way immediately it will happen. It is a process. It has to be inculcated as a DNA rather than as a tick mark exercise of a training or a awareness. Number one. Number two is how we are addressing our hiring, how we are addressing our onboarding, and how we are seeing that the retentions of the females are still within the limits. If these 2, 3 things are good, then eventually you will see the available, whosoever are available troops within the organization, they will have some good branding about that organization. We'll talk great policies about that. Second thing is that you also need to tweak your policies, which are mostly gender-based policies. So it has to be in such a way that the conducive atmosphere we are creating within the organizations by creating some kind of good policies. We may compare, may not compare the market, because this is again, every policy I believe is impacting on your P&L. So it has to be very cautious call in a what phase, in a what way you are to implement this policy. But there are different ways. Training and impacting as a mentor is something which are very prominent to remove the unconscious bias. Pooja.
Okay, so thank you for mentioning, strongly that mentoring and like on unconscious bias, how it can be addressed basically. So mostly it was one quote that Indra Nooyi had, she had quoted one thing that women are judged by their performance and men are judged by their capability. So, what do you think about this quote? Like, does this stereotype still exist in the industry, or we are apart from the point that has been mentioned?
Honestly, it is still there, and it has to be removed by creating the credibility. So I can see, like, my co-panelists are female. They are really crossing the levels and reaching to the different kind of levels. I think it will take some time. Eventually, if we see comparing India versus the developed countries, the rate of onboarding the females are not only slightly increased, but it has exponentially increased in by taking some kind of specific action. Number one. I want to mention here very strongly, like, since we are moving towards a decade, or next 20, 30 years, India will be dominantly be number one in manufacturing across the globe. We require a lot of female talents, and that's the reason I think we need to create some kind of very special drives, not only to onboard but also to promote the female. And whatever you quoted, I think is something which has to be, and it is the time to prove that the female are not only coming, but they are, creating and showing the credibility, which is very interesting.
Yeah, that's correctly said. That creating the credibility is the one point that you get noticed actually for the roles that organizations can think, and you can go ahead and be at the top positions, because right now there are many women who are already in the leadership roles for many industries. And apart from like manufacturing industry, as you mentioned, yes, it has been a buzz for quite a some time that there will be many hiring positions for in the manufacturing industry. There will be many opportunities, and people in like outside India who have taken those opportunities to just go abroad and work over there, they are actually considering opportunities to come back in India and work at the at the leadership positions in the manufacturing industry in India itself. There has been so much investment in our own country itself with the growing GDP that we see over here. And now, in addition to that, this is one part that manufacturing industry is creating the buzz. But on the sideline, people do have question regarding the IT industries also, that what will be the growth, or what will be the status quo in the IT industry. The people who are working over there, will they be having growth over there, or the growth has become stagnant? There has been so much hiring in last few years. So I would like, Jayanti as well as Manjri, I want both of you to, address this point for me and for the audience too.
Yep. Manjri, you can go first.
Yeah. Okay. So, Pooja, obviously the growth is going to happen. It's not like it's all stagnated. You see a lot of investment also getting done in IT. The only thing is, because we are heavily dependent on the US economy, this year, at least in the H1 of this year, meaning first half of this year, things are a bit slow. But the anticipation is that second half of this year, things will start to improve. So it's not like it will stay like that. I think it's any business will have ups and downs, and it's cyclical, right? So 2021 post-COVID, we never imagined the kind of growth that IT would have. But then it actually, while everybody was thinking that they'll not do well, companies ended up doing so well in that year, and hence a lot of hiring was done in that year, specific year, and we saw a lot of resignations also. So 2021 was the great resignation year, right, where there's a lot of churn that happened. So companies ended up, and we did very well as organization, right? So the idea was they thought that the subsequent year also will become very good financially or business wise, and hence they overhired. A lot of companies ended up to prepare for that growth. A lot of companies overhired, and that's why you see that there's a stagnation right now. It's not that work will not come or growth will not happen. There's so much of investment happening, and I truly believe that over the next few years, as Rahul was also mentioning, or Jayanti was mentioning, India is going to see a lot of growth. So there will be opportunities. It's just that we need to identify and be at the right time, and be opportune about the fact that if something is coming up, just pick it up and sort of work on that. While it is a slowdown year, I see a lot of freshers, in fact fresh graduates, who are struggling to find jobs right now. This year especially is a little slow, but things will start to move definitely by second half, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I totally agree with Manjiri. And just to quote, so NASSCOM, in fact, had a prediction that India will have over 20% more GCCs getting, in India. And we are now moving from definitely being more reliant on US market, but to UK, and we have started getting businesses even from some of the Asian markets within India. So yes, growth will happen. It is there to happen. However, I think just a one note of caution is that it is very important for IT employees to really keep reskilling themselves.
Yeah.
The kind of jobs we are hiring at this point in time may be irrelevant in next 1 or 2 years. So how the employees or even the students who are wanting to move into IT industry, how they make them future ready is going to be the key. The vanilla BAU jobs might even just move out because of the AI and automation which companies are investing heavily in. So they'll have to start learning these new jobs, and then be relevant in the market to see the similar growth for themselves as an individual also.
Yeah, because the AI and automation, like you rightly said, these are the parameters that are coming up as a not as a challenge. They will not completely replace humans, but obviously humans need to learn to use this new technologies and inculcate into their day-to-day working, and that will rightly affect their the further opportunities that you will be seeing. So as these opportunities for the leadership roles, what are the skills that you think, Rahul, for the manufacturing industry? Like in IT, we have seen there is very much automation for coding or for other purposes or other processes. So for manufacturing industry, what is the role or what is the take in the leadership roles that they can improve themselves? Which skills they can inculcate?
Okay, so I like to touch upon the last question also because it is very interesting. Since the manufacturing is heavily contributing the growth of India. So there are three factors according to me. One is manufacturing, second is agriculture, and the third is service sector. Now, if you see the transition, what is happening, the service sector is started giving more benefits. If you can see the gig workers, a lot many things, like you can see more opportunities which is coming for the employment. Okay, so one precautionary note I will also add, as Jayanti added, is reskilling is required, but are we going into right direction? I have seen couple of HR or non-HR people who are switching from manufacturing to IT to manufacturing, and over a period of time this becomes a very difficult for them to take the journey forward, because hoping for the job or hoping for the salary is a very common phenomenon I have seen, rather than focusing on how we should lead at the age of, let's say, 30-40 years of the service. So it is very important to understand the ikigai of the person and then to work towards our approach towards that. Addressing to your question, I think lot of investment is coming within the India in terms of growth story. I can see a lot of PLI schemes companies are approached. I also signed a couple of MOUs also with the different government for the state of Andhra Pradesh. We signed for Kia Motors and all. So lot of investment is coming. Number one. See, the investment is coming for two purposes. One is expansion, another is fresh investment. So we need kind of competent people in manufacturing to address these kind of things. Okay, one is at mid level and another is at senior level. So over a period of time, you can also see that manufacturing will do more and more kind of. It is unstoppable thing for India in terms of contributing to the GDP. Now coming back to the third challenge, which is at leadership or board level. According to me, most of the companies are onboarding female diversity at board level only for the sake of compliances. I will ask very openly, like how many companies are even hiring board people more than compliance level? And that's the answer you will get. So what I mean to say that, like, nowadays there is a lot of buzzword happening because BRSR report, like, if you are a listed organization, there has to be some kind of stipulated information to be given to SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, and you see a lot of transparency is coming within the system. Because of this transparency, lot of things to be done at company secretary level and all. So in nutshell, you can see also the role of independent director, which is prominently coming nowadays very heavily, and I can see lot of tech, non-tech HR people are also transiting towards this. So one thing is that developing the leadership at middle level and nurturing them to the N-1 or N-2 level of the manufacturing is becoming a challenge. But very interestingly, I can see very structural programs organizations are crafting for this, let's say ranging between 6 months to 9 months. The success ratio, I will say, ranging between 40 to 60% depending on the ownership of this development, and second is the organizations who wanted to continue the interest in the same program. But I can see a lot of drives we have done. I especially have emphasized in creating the workplace in such a way that females should progress not only within the shop floor but also at different levels at the management. Pooja.
Yeah, this is great initiatives that you have been mentioning. Like it actually shows that what initiatives or what policies can be taken, what kind of trainings can be taken to actually, promote women to the leadership levels or mid leadership levels also. So there are a lot of opportunities that are, that are there, as well as there is a supportive environment too that have been created at a level. So, as a human resource professional, Manjri, what do you think? As a human resource professional, what more initiatives can be taken other than this? Like mentoring is there, then skilling is there, skilling your workforce, then addressing them. Apart from that, from a perspective of being more flexible towards the work or being more inculcative, what more initiatives do you think can address this leadership challenges for the women to come forward and take it up?
I think, one of the things is also, while all this is happening, if you take a step back, very importantly, having a culture which is very open, right? And where women can openly discuss these things internally with HR or with their managers. So one initiative that we've started at Club also is there's something called as I Win. So it's like a group of women, like all women at Cloud Moyo. It's a group that we've created where they can talk about everything and anything, which for which they need help. It could be as simple as, which school should I send my daughter to or son to, or if there's some medical help that they need, then that group actually comes together and helps. So that was the intent of creating it. That was on the personal side. On professional side, the group actually allows the women to talk about whatever fears that they have or whatever anxieties that they have. So, and then there are these supportive women or mid-management leadership women who are already there in the organizations who can talk things out with them. or then they can directly come and talk to HR. So a lot of these conversations actually help women to overcome whatever fears they have, and they can go ahead confidently. Because to me, Pooja, the structured programs are already available, you know, and those programs you can teach something in terms of what the leadership skills needs to be, or how do we manage a team, or how do we face a challenging situation, how would you address that, and all of that. But the precursor to that is making the individual actually having that confidence in yourself to move ahead. Because like I said, the capabilities aspect is there. It's about your own inhibitions about taking up that role. So a lot of discussions are required at times for us to tell them that, look, you have the capabilities, you have the mentoring that is required internally. Why don't we just take up and do a program which is more structured, which will help you to keep going? You reevaluate your skills or whatever gaps you have and keep going and keep conducting yourself in that role and seeing what help you need. So those kind of programs will work. I think structured approach is there. um, the thing that is missing at times is these conversations that are required, very candid conversations where the women they have that psychological safety net, where if I can open up about anything and everything, I won't be judged when I'm saying something that really affects me today, maybe at a personal side or at a professional level. So you need to create that environment where women are open enough to discuss these things and then overcome the challenges that they're facing on day to day.
Yeah, so there needs to be a safe community space, I can say, wherein women can open up. In addition to that, they will get the right solution and right direction to the problems that they have quoted, or maybe it can be the smallest of things that concern people, but they can just share and be open about it.
Yeah,
And
because that
nowadays, it
goes on
has
your
been,
head, right? Yeah, that will keep
yeah.
going on in your head, and then you'll extrapolate that in your head, and then you will say that, okay, now everything is crashing, and I don't think I am up for this, or I don't think I can manage my work life then. So you don't need to extrapolate things, is what I'm saying. It's okay. Everything has a solution. You just need to have a solutions mindset, and things will work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. And that is where the community platform comes in, like
Yeah.
for not just for women, but men, women, or any gender that right now we rightly say. And right now, we can say that earlier days when we used to work as a fresher, I used to work at that point of time. Going out and talking to HR was a big thing. That if we are going and talking to the HR or to the head HR of the company, but nowadays it has been very simple to reach out to the leadership people, and they are easily accessible also. So that is one thing that has really changed. Jayanti, what do you think about the community platform that we were talking about, the creating a safe space for the women for sharing their thoughts or sharing their concerns, basically? And do you think that what kind of support organizations can provide in this kind of community platforms?
So yeah, I agree with Manjiri. I think community platforms are very much important because they have to find a safe place to ask any question. And I think it can be a mentor, it can be a community platform, it can be even someone like having a counselor in house who can come and spend time in your organization, and then people can really go, and there is a reinforcement which happens from the counselor saying that it is okay to talk to your leaders. And these are the ways where we create actually that open culture within the organization. uh, and also when people start reaching out and they don't see any implication of asking any question, I think that is another reinforcement which happens. And then people start talking to the colleagues, hey, it's okay to talk to maybe your head HR or your head of business, and you'll not be reprimanded for just going and reaching out to the topmost leadership in the organization. And most of the times, I think more than community platform, even some experiential sharing platforms also help. So some we what we do is we just arrange these things only on Women Day, but I think we have to go beyond that, and we have to really see that every month, if any of your woman leader who or even a manager or anyone who has seen some growth vertically, laterally within the organization, and have those, sharing platforms, and people can ask questions to each other. I think these things also help. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Manjri.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I just wanted to add on top of what you just mentioned, Jayanti. So one of the things that we've studied is interesting. I think, and I think everywhere post-COVID, there's a lot of initiatives being taken on wellness, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things that we had started, and we do realize that sometimes I used to think, why is it that there's so much of importance given to mental wellness? I mean, honestly, is there so much of issue? But somehow post covid, I think it's even I realized it, that yes, there's a lot of need to have that. Maybe because people have become or they got isolated. This hybrid work culture that we had, or for 2 years, hybrid is still good, but then when we were working from home, a lot of isolation happened, and things triggered, a lot of other things triggered. So one of the initiatives that we've started is moyo chicken soup for soul, what Jayanti was just talking, right? So once in a month or once in 2 months, we actually, and it's an open forum. Anybody can come in and talk about any mental issues that they have, or any psychological fears that they have, anxieties that they had, and what did they do to overcome that, and how did the organization or someone within the organization or their mentor, friends, anybody who helped them to overcome that. Um, so these kind of open forums actually gives that sense also that the organization is not going to judge you if tomorrow you come and ask about some help. It could be any kind of help, and that really helps, because I've seen the employees open up very well, and it also and the good part is they've come back to me saying that, why don't we do it more often? So it's actually helped them. So that's something that is in line with what Jayanti was mentioning actually.
Yeah, Rahul, please.
I have some slightly different opinion on this. I'm a person of doing the experiment more than other one are doing. So in one of the mental health program, I was about to give some keynote address, and the question there was some question answer sessions at the end of the session. But my emphasis on mental health is this is because of the race I think all human beings are into. It is a rat race of earning more money than my neighbors. It is a rat race. That's the reason people wants to earn more and more, wanted to enhance their life, but at the cost of what? At the cost of sacrificing your personal life, at the cost of reducing the time with the family. You have 2-3 TVs within the one family, okay? 4 gadgets, electronics gadget you can see. So lot of things I always urge at the end of the program in any forum, like please spend some time rather than electronic gadgets to your family. This will to some extent reduce the mental stress and have some kind of good ecosystem within the life. But I have my own opinion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this topic has been like mental health topic has been picked up after COVID, like rightly said, because after the isolation, people realize that everybody nowadays, I think so, has some mental health issues, because if they are not rightly addressed or not addressed or not rightly taken, we didn't even notice earlier due to the busy life schedules. And during COVID, it happened so that we got some time to ourselves to think and to reciprocate that what has been going on, and then people started analyzing, or you can say noticing that, oh, okay, I have been facing such issues and I have been suffering for some time. So that is one part. But like I rightly said, approachable leadership is something which is very important, because Rahul Bagley, he rightly said that approachable leadership is something, people can come to you, you can address them, you can mentor them, and as well as make them understand that what's going on, and how you can improve. So I would like to understand more about this, Rahul. Like what do you think about approachable leadership? Like if suppose somebody is coming up and talking, and how can be this addressed? Or sometimes it happens that we are also afraid, like lower senior level people are afraid to approach their leaders and talk to them. So how this can be made easy for the people who we are working with?
So it is, I think, about the culture, how we needs to imbibe and how we want to develop our leadership team. I'll give very practical example. Uh, First, for any appointing any as a mentor, I think the mentor should not be appointed; it has to be chosen rather than and choosing a mentor, it reflects or resonates the trust of the employee on that leader. This is very, very important. Unless and until it is there, otherwise it will be mechanical, or the things will be on the paper. Once the trust is there, then the person has their own kind of like individual bonding between two people, and then uh, next progressions one can see at different levels. I generally prefer to attach. So there are 15 to 17% people in any organization who are high pots, okay, high potential employees. And if these people are not addressed or not handled in a way, they can become an asset of any competition. Now, to retain these kind of people is a key challenge for any leaders. And my thought is like at least 50 to 60% of these high posts has to be retained or engaged. And here it comes to question: can we assign a mentor by choice rather than by imbibing the name of the person? It requires a lot of efforts in terms of developing the spark between the person. So I did this experiment also in terms of taking the career interview of the people. Okay, after 2 years, we are as a HR we are taking career interview of our own people where they want to grow and what are the different geographies where they wanted to go with different roles, whether STA, LTA kind of assignments also. So I think mentorship is absolutely required, but at the rate of by own ways identifying and trusting them. I've seen there are a lot of other mentors who are not only guiding within the organization. So once the relationship established, Pooja, that will nurture for lifelong. This is what I can see, and I trust this happen. So this requires some effort. Second thing is that the ownership of like developing is having kind of like ownership has to be there with the employee, and HR is having two hats here. One is that like pushing the mentor-mentee relationship as a catalyst, number one, and second, creating the conducive environment within the organizations to have such kind of things. But positively, there are mentors who have provoked people. The role is not to give the answer. The role is to provoke the thoughts, provoke the mind in such a way that the solution will come. If you can see great Sachin Tendulkar, the mentor is not giving the answer. He is just provoking in such a way that the person itself will provide the answer. So such kind of leaders are absolutely required, and I think it is a time like in India, such as a seasoned HR leaders or business leaders need to provoke the juniors in such a way that we create the ecosystem, that we create the future leaders for the tomorrow.
It has been so rightly addressed for the aspiring leaders or the already the people who are in the leadership role. So before like we wrap up this session, we will quickly have a question answer round. So I would like to address audience, if anybody wants to ask anything, they could just raise their hands so that we could add them to the session and they can talk to the panelists.
Pooja, there are some
anyone...
questions and comments already on chat. So
I
think I have answered a couple of them. Yeah.
Yes. So people are interacting on the chat. So during our session, there was interaction. So there are certain questions like, I'm wondering what is the name of community platform for professional and personal growth? And so it would be great if you could we could answer them over the chat itself. So I would just like to address audience with the ending note. And for those who are interested to diving deeper into this topic, we will be sharing the additional resources and materials via email following the webinar. So you could stay tuned over the emails also. And you could drop us the comments, and you could chat with us on LinkedIn too. So I would like to thank our distinguished panelists for sharing their valuable insights with us today. And that concludes our webinar on leadership development. And a big thank you to all of our attendees for joining us today. And we hope that you found this discussion insightful and informative. So until the next time, it's a goodbye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Wish
Thanks,
you all the
Pooja.
very best.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.